just lay down, my darling? Do you want a cloth to lay down on? Is that preferable?
Well, hello my lovely nestlings and welcome to today's video where I'm going to chat about palettes that make me think of spring or giving me spring vibes, that kind of thing. I have new palettes and I have old palettes and I will leave all the palettes down below for you to check out. And if you're new, welcome, my name is Nikki and this is Floki. And if you love to hear about makeup, if you want to hear about brands that no one else is talking about, and if you just want to have plain old fun, then this is the channel for you. Subscribe now, become part of my nestlings, because we are having a blast here on the internet. Also, the cats are basically the backbone of my channel, so sometimes they come along and it's all good fun. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can say that I wanted to pull 10, but stuff happened and I pulled, I don't know how many I pulled. I pulled a bunch. I'm just going to get into it. I'm going to tell you why they give me a spring vibe. It's actually pretty nice weather today, so yes, I'm in the mood. Let's start with the first one that I have up top here, which is from Max Up the Makeup, and it's the Flower Child palette. Now this can go for summer as well, but because the colors are a little bit more muted, it is giving me a little bit of, you know, when it is a warm spring day, maybe early summer, that's the vibe that it is giving me. And this is just such a good quality as well. And it just, the palette in itself is just giving me that, I don't know, spring / summer vibe. It just makes me happy to look at. I can also do a video palettes that make me happy. Maybe that's a fun video as well, because I have a few of those. And I have to basically then set that one aside, because it is one of the palettes that truly makes me happy. The next one I'm going to mention is one that I mention every time I'm doing the video, because it's just, it just needs to be in here. It's an older palette, but it is still in stock. It's from a Dutch-based indie brand called 50/50 Makeup, and it is their spring palette. Oh yeah, and I do have discount codes with some of the brands. The discount codes will come on the screen, and they will also be linked in the description box. But this is the spring palette. What are you doing, honey buns? Yes, I love you too. This is the color story. So again, it is spring, maybe a little bit of summer vibes, but it is called spring. So that's then extra needed in this video, and the quality is very, very nice. I also have done videos with all the palettes, if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to know, you can search my channel for them. Yes, maybe I have to say this, but it's for me, it's sometimes it's color story, sometimes it's the whole vibe, sometimes it's just purely packaging and name. That can happen as well. The next palette that I'm going to mention, this is a color story thing. The color story in here just makes me think of spring, and it's the Nudes palette by Juvia's Place. It is a little bit more, and I don't know why, but I think that peach and orangey, peachy, they are very, very spring. So yeah, for me, this color story, and I have more of this type of color story. For instance, I also have one from Sigil, but because of the way that that one is, it's one that I use in summer a lot. So that's why that one is giving me summer vibes, and this one is giving me springtime vibes. Yes. The next one that I'm going to mention, oh, and I did receive some palettes in PR. The one from 50/50 Makeup I received in PR. The next palette that I'm going to mention I received in PR as well, and it's actually from Odin's Eye. And it is the Saga of Freya Chapter 1, Tears of Freya. So this whole vibe, it is, yeah, just a nice spring day, or maybe even a very, very early summer day. That's the feeling that it gives me. You know, when you're in your mansion and, I don't know, counting the bees that you have in your garden. So this is the color story. And because also the colors here are a little bit more muted, and then the complete vibe, it's just, yeah, giving me spring vibes. Oh, he's going in his box again, because apparently I'm not giving him enough attention. So I have another palette from Odin's Eye, which is maybe in theme, not specifically spring, but it can go year round actually. But the color story is giving me springtime vibes, and it is the Odin's Eye and Angelica collab, the Hela palette. Now unfortunately, if it is currently sold out, it's not coming back, but this is the color story, and again it is a little bit more bright but still a little bit more muted. You get, you know, you get some greens here, you get some pinks here, but because of the, I want to say mutedness, which is not really the correct term, but this just gives, Maybe it's also the time that it launched. You know, it just launched when I'm filming this. It just launched a few weeks ago, or yeah. So this did not launch that long ago, and it is giving me, yeah, again, springtime vibes just because of the color story. Okay, the next palette that I'm going to mention is the Egg Hunt palette from Unique Beauty, and this is a combination of things. So you have here the outer part, and then this is the color story. Now this is a little bit more bright, so for me this is a little bit more towards, you know, the very hot spring days, so end of spring, maybe beginning of summer. But because of the name, you know, Egg Hunt, the shade names that are in here and the theme is very much springtime for me, and the quality is top notch. Okay, let's next go to another palette that actually has the same name, and it's a quad from Saint Angel Synods. This is also called the Egg Hunt, and again it's the theme. In this case it's a little bit more of the theme than the color story. So here is the inside, and the shades, it's an all shimmer quad. You get, can you see when I do this? I think you can kind of see the shifts that some of the shades have, right? It's just very, 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 very stunning. The quality is amazing, but because of the theme, it's very much springtime for me. Next, I am going to go... shall we go to Colourpop? Sure, because I have a bunch from Colourpop. Well, yeah, I have. I have a few from Colourpop. One I'm actually counting as one, which is not really one, but it's cheating. Let's start with the one that I always name in the video for my springtime palettes, and that's the Sweet Talk palette, and specifically mine, because I revamped it. So here is what mine is looking like. I removed the two pressed glitters and I put in these two shades. This is the shade Mary Jane from the Just My Luck, and this is the shade Trooper from the Sport palette. I think it's one of the few shades that I liked from that palette. But this color story, and then specifically the way, also before but specifically now, it's giving me very much spring vibes. This is, I don't want to say it's my ultimate spring palette, but it is definitely one that yeah, that I just love, and it just makes me, it also just makes, the color story makes me just happy to look at. So yeah, it can go in there. Okay, then I'm going to go to actually 3 palettes. It's a collection, so I'm counting them as one because for me they just go together, and it's the Bambi collection from Colourpop. Look at these palettes. This is just giving me such springtime vibes. Can we do it like that? Yes. It's just giving me springtime vibes. Also, you know, this part in the movie, it was spring. Well, actually was, maybe it was early summer, but still, it's giving me very much springtime vibes. Let me show you the color story. So this is the Bambi, which I also love this. Well, I love this all year round, but this time of year, I really want to play with this. And then we have Thumper, and then we have Flower. But yeah, these are just... and they make me extremely happy to look at. It's just a good vibes, I don't know, a good vibes thing. Then the last one from Colourpop that I have, which is actually the newer one that I have that I haven't tried yet. It's the Wannabe Palette. It's bees. You know, my yard is already full with wild bees and bumblebees that are coming. But also the color story, the little bit more mutedness, the light, I don't know. This, yeah, spring, what can I say? I have another bee palette here. Well, I have 2 other bee palettes here, but they don't really scream specifically spring for me, but you will see them in probably the summer variant of this. I have 3 palettes left, so let's go to some pastels, shall we? Let's go to Natasha Denona, because yeah, she launched her pastel palette, and this is just the complete vibe, again giving me ultimate spring vibes. I did 5 looks and an eye swatch video in case you want to know how the quality is. I really like this palette. What can I say? I really do. And I'm very happy that I have it. And then I have another pastel palette. It's my only other true pastel palette that I have, and it's from Nomad. It's the Tokyo Harajuku palette. This one is also always included in this one. Pro is matte, then you get satins, and then here you get duochrome topper shades, and the quality is stunning. It's a very soft formula, so it's very blendable, but layering more than 2, it's kind of an issue. However, with pastels, the way to use pastels is you use them on a base that is not set, that is preferably still a little bit sticky, and you kind of pack them on And if you want to blend, you just blend the edges. That is the way to work with pastel shades. Check out my Natasha Denona video or the video that I did with the Tokyo Harajuku, because I show you exactly how I work with pastels. Then the last palette that I'm going to mention, it's the palette that I have on my eyes currently, and it's actually the palette that started this video, because while this palette is on the border. It is both spring and summer, but right now, and it's because I am in spring right now that I'm using this, we have had some extremely nice days, and the looks that I did are both spring and summer. The look that I have today, it's almost a pastel look, but not quite. Does that make sense? And it's the newest palette from Nomad. It's their Paradise Island palette. Can we just, this also makes me extremely happy to look at. It just gives me vacation. It just, there's just something so, and it sounds, maybe it's probably very dramatic, but that's kind of me a little bit. This gives me such a calm and happy feeling just looking at the outside of the palette, and then we open her up. Are you ready? A combination of kind of pastel-y shades, which you have here on the top and some here at the bottom. Today I actually used this one, this row that I use largely, and you get a pastel look that is still vibrant. So that's why I say it's not really, it's not a pastel palette, but it's also not a bright palette. It's very much, I don't know, in the middle, something like that. But yeah, this makes me extremely happy. So this is actually look number 5 that I'm filming this, because I'm currently filming with this palette. So I have one look left to film, which is basically this one. Because you can do monochromatic look, I want to say dramatic looks, yeah, also. You can do monochromatic looks, you can do soft pastel looks, you can do everyday colorful looks. You can just, yeah, it's... yeah, that's kind of it. And that was it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I always like going through my collection this way. And it's just so interesting. I actually said to my friend Debbie, so interesting that certain palettes give you a certain feeling. I also have here a stack of my green palettes that I'm going to do another video with. But there are also palettes in there that are not technically green, but they feel green. Does that make sense? And I have that the same with these palettes. These palettes, there are just palettes here that, yes, I can use them all year round, but they just feel like spring. They feel like new beginning, if that makes any sense at all. And if it doesn't, well, that is okay too. Let me know down below some of your favorite spring palettes. And then that is going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to wish you a fantastic day, a fabulous evening. May your foundation always match your neck, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.